So let's talk about the 4 practices that we will teach on the yogic journey in order to achieve freedom inside. Let's talk about that in this video. So fundamentally, there are 4 practices to enlightenment, and we're going to talk about them here. Before we do that, I want to bring your attention down below to the free offerings that we have on this channel. There's a breathing practice that's free down there. There's a free introduction to Hatha Yoga. There's a free community down below as well for awakening souls. And also, you're more than welcome to apply for our new Freedom Blueprint. It's a 6-month to a year training that you will have to, in a way, invest in yourself for, both physically, yes, and monetarily. And so this one isn't free, but the application form is, and you can apply for that down below. This is for the person who is ready to take this seriously and who is ready to take the next step on the journey, who wants a little bit of structure behind what they're doing. Okie dokie. So, the first practice in the yogic path, or practices that we have to engage in, are, in a way, moral observances. So we call these in yoga the yamas and the niyamas. And so, in a way, they are the do's and the don'ts of the journey. Don't lie, don't steal, don't be violent, etc., etc. And in a way, do purify, do cleanse the system. And so things like this are the first couple of stages on this yogic path, and they're practices that are, well, in a way, developed as we go, and they don't necessarily have to be done first, but they certainly do need to be developed in a way. Now, they're not strict rules. We don't have to attain perfection in these rules for us to be making good progress on the journey. In fact, if we go for perfection, it will actually become a limitation to us. But naturally, as we purify the system and go through this work, in a way, those moral observances will become more important, yes, but also they'll just become more natural. You won't be giving anything up in a way to observe them. It'll be, okay, I can do this, I can add this in, and we get such a great benefit from that, both energetically, but also in self-trust. The second practice that you will then engage in your freedom journey or your enlightenment journey are asanas. Asanas are physical postures. This is what people think yoga is about, and of course, when people sign up to yoga classes in gyms or whatever, that's all they think it is: physical postures, exercises, and of course, that couldn't be further from the truth. Some people, I speak to a lot of people, and when I tell them I'm a yoga teacher, they say, oh, I'm not flexible enough to do yoga. And I'm like, that doesn't even make sense. That's like saying I'm too dirty to have a bath. Like, flexibility will happen as a consequence of yoga, most likely, so long as you stay consistent, And some people it takes longer. Me, I'm still not flexible at all. Oh gosh, where did that come from? At all. This body is quite tight, quite inflexible, especially in my hips. Anyway, so some of these things will happen, will become flexible as a byproduct of the yoga. It's never the intention. In the same way, when you go to the gym and do your weight training, we come in with the intention to build muscle, don't we? And so that's why we have this artificial idea of yoga, where we come into yoga to be flexible. No, you don't. You use the postures to transform your mind and transform to become aware of the mind, in fact, and transform the inner body in such a way that the prana, the energy in the body, so that we can then begin to understand the body, the mind, the awareness in a deeper way. It's in fact the postures that create transformation within, not without, although they will do that as a byproduct. Also, the body will get healthy and stuff like this. But again, we're not doing it for that. And it'll probably even lead to financial security. Why? Because we're peaceful and we make better decisions when we're peaceful, isn't it? But again, that's not the goal. what are we here for? Well, we're here for transformation, deep and meaningful transformation internally, removing all of that repressed stuff that we've had through perhaps lifetimes or whatever of conditioning inside of ourselves. And so in this way, asanas is that next stage, and they're so much more than the physical postures. And in fact, the physical asanas, those postures that we're talking about, aren't really what we mean when we say yoga. This is the third essence of yoga that we're going to talk about now, that third practice towards enlightenment that you will engage in, and that's pranayama. That's breathing practices. Prana means life force, energy, breath. They're interlinked. You can't necessarily use them synonymously, but we're going to for here for ease of use. Yama means control of, so control of our breath, or control of our life force, or control of our life energies in a way. And of course then we can begin to understand, if we can control our life energies, we can control our life. Our destiny is something that is cultivated then. We create that in a way. Of course it's a co-creation from life, yes, because certain pressures will from the outside will push us in a certain way. That is true, yes, but within reason. Pranayama means control of my life force, and when I've got control of that, again, within reason, I can control my life. Will that lead to success? Yes, most likely. Also depends on how you define success, but yes, it most likely will. So this is really what we mean when we talk about yoga, though, is pranayamas. So anybody who goes as deep as asana and thinks this is the end game, it isn't. You know, I always thought, well, in fact, after my awakening, I didn't even have a concept of what yoga was. I had no idea. And it took a teacher to even introduce the word yoga for me to even go, what is yoga? It's insane, really. And it's possible that this happens to people. They awaken, and then they don't even have a concept for what this is, because it's never entered their life in a way. It's never been part of their experience. They've never been introduced to it. So this is the main thing, really, in any awakening journey, and that's pranayama. Now, if you haven't done asana before, the second stage, you must start there. They do very different things. You can't just start on pranayama. Why? Well, it's like tilling a field. If a farmer goes to till the field, without tilling the field, can he plant his crops? Well, some might think yes, because it's still soil, but will it work? Well, it won't be anywhere near as efficient. You see? And it's the same in this way. Yoga tills the field. Pranayama are like the seeds that you plant in the field. It's a finer type of energy that if the nervous system isn't sensitive enough, it will just be like breathing. You'll just be doing breathing rather than penetrating in a way with a fine energy into the sensitivity of the nervous system. And so you can't skip stages. You have to go through stage one, moral observances, although in fact this stage can't be skipped because you have to have some sort of aptitude in that, but it's not strict. But then you have to go to asana. You have to do the physical postures, because that will till the soil. That will get rid of any dense, gross karmas in the system. And then, as and when the teacher or guru feels that you're ready for the next stage, you'll get the green light and you'll be introduced to specific pranayamas, breath work. But breath work, again, isn't just breathing, although it will be if you haven't done any asanas. If you have done asanas, breath work will also be able to manipulate your prana, your energy in a certain way, and penetrate very, very deeply into your system and really shift your consciousness in a way that will make you unrecognizable. Then you'll be introduced, the fourth practice towards enlightenment, you'll be introduced to mudras and bandhas. Mudras and bandhas are locks and seals that we use to unlock ourselves in a way. Even though they're called locks and seals, they're almost like little keys to open up powerful centers inside of ourselves that are tied to our physiology, yes, but are super powerful hubs of energy. It's like, I like using the idea of squeezing a lemon or an orange or a citrus fruit. You know how much juice comes out of them? Well, this is kind of the way that mudras and bandhas are used. The more that we can strengthen them, the more juicy and wonderful they become, and the more bliss we can experience in the system in a more and more regular basis. This is why each stage is needed, because mudras and bandhas without any of the 3 previous stages will just be Kegels. If none of you know what I mean by Kegels, it's just a little exercise that you do to lift your pelvic floor. It's to strengthen that musculature, but it won't create any pranic juice. You won't be squeezing a citrus fruit, you'll be lifting an elastic band. It's artificial, it's dead in a way. Not dead, but like it's dead inside rather than being juicy and alive. So, I mean, I have to tell you, that's as far as I've gone. So I can't tell you any more. If there's any more, I'll find out, I'll let you know, I'll come back and talk to you. I assume the next stage is preparation for Samadhi. And in a way, all of these systems of yoga are here to purify the system. And so it's a continuing purification of the system and a continuing of directing fine energy towards those tendencies that are really deeply rooted inside of us and very, 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 very sticky at times, until they burn away in the fire of beingness, or in the fire of tapas, discipline, as we head towards Samadhi in a way. I hope this helps. I hope you have a great day. Namaste.